Hello out there, my name is Milesy and welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to show you a few different methods for using metallic floss, which is kind of the bane of, I think, every stitcher's existence. And this is actually a video I thought I did around this time last year. I don't know if it's one that I recorded and then never uploaded, or if it was one of the ones that was so bad I recorded it, uploaded it, and then deleted it. So I'm going to do this again, and I will show you using this nice, lovely purple, two different methods to make your metallic floss experience a little less awful, because let's be honest, metallic floss kind of sucks. So the first way that we're going to do it, and I'm just going to pull a small little amount off, and there's already a big giant knot in it, which just, you know, goes to show metallic floss is kind of evil, and we're just going to cut it off right there. Now, the first way that you can do this is find a single strand, and a lot of times the metallic floss will kind of want to come apart and become multiple strands, which is part of what makes it such a tremendously huge ball ache to deal with. So what we're going to do is just kind of make sure that it's nice and even and not getting caught on our tacks. And the ends are kind of already really badly frayed, and I just cut this, so metallic floss, there you go, right there in a nutshell. So the first way that we're going to do it is we're going to take our Thread Heaven, Thread Magic, if you saw my other video, your silicone earplugs, and we're just going to run it through really quickly. And the way I do it is I just put my thumb on top of the silicone and not really press it, just use it to hold the thread on there. And it's very hard to stay in shot, I apologize. And you can do that a couple of times. You don't want to do it too much though, because it will kind of start to gunk up very quickly. Even the name brand stuff will start to gunk up, so you don't want to do too much. And then just kind of give it a pass through your fingers to get off any excess that you don't want hanging around, because really it's just there to make the individual threads a little bit more likely and willing to stick together. So now we are going to do it this way. We want two strands to get some pretty decent coverage, and I think the best way will be to just cut off all of that nonsense. And that should be a little bit easier to thread. If you have a needle threader, you might be able to try it, but I find that the metallic floss just doesn't like to cooperate with anything. And so we're just going to kind of go through here just as usual and try to find that hole. There we go. And metallic floss, just kind of by its nature, looks really, really funky. You have to be very gentle with it, or else it will just kind of look like a mess. Which means that you're going to want to take your time and railroad your stitches. If you have a laying tool, you can use that as well. And it keeps getting stuck on the tack. There we go. But just take your time, and you probably, and it's already tangled up. There we go. Huh. And you probably don't want to use as many strands as you think you do, just because it doesn't get crushed down the way cotton does, I think is probably a good way of putting it. So just be very slow, be very gentle, understand that it's going to fray and probably knot up, and just be as big of a ball ache as it is possible for an inanimate object to be. And another trick that you can do is just use as small of pieces as possible. Resign yourself to having to rethread your needle a whole bunch of times. And there we go. There are a few strands. It's already starting to get on my nerves, so let's just go ahead and cut that there. Now the other way that you can use it, and this is the way that I like to use it, is we look here and we are using number E3837. So that's 3837 in the light effects range. Now, they also have that in the just regular stranded cotton. So we're going to take a piece of the regular stranded cotton, and there we go. We have this and we have this. Now we can look here and put them together. They are not going to be a completely perfect match. There is a little bit of difference here, but that's because this is cotton and this is polyester. So they are pretty close. Sometimes they will be a little bit different, but that's fine. So what we're going to do here is take a piece of our metallic, and then we are going to take a piece of our cotton, and they are different sizes because I didn't cut them to size for some reason. Oh well, so I'm going to line them up and just cut them so they are the same size. Where's my scissors? And that is a little bit better. There we go. So when you're doing it this way, there are two different ways you can do it. You can either fold it over and have 4 strands to do a loop start, or if you want to do the full stitch, you probably don't want to be using 4 strands on a full stitch. That seems like it would be a little too much, and I will show you what both look like, but we'll do the harder one first. We're just going to kind of go through here, and we can tie a waist knot. Let's kind of do that. Probably the best way to do it, even though it is a bit finicky. This is how I do my waist knots when I do them, which is rarely. You come in from the top, and be aware that it's going to just kind of be a big, tremendous pain in the behind, and it doesn't really want to line up. So there we go. We have that, and we'll just kind of hold it out of the way and stitch like we would normally. And again, you'll kind of want to take a little bit of care when you're doing it this way, because even though we have the extra strand of cotton, which makes it a little bit easier to work with, we're still dealing with metallic floss, which is still the devil. Where is it? There we go. And they keep wanting to slide away from one another, so I have to kind of keep working the floss so that it remains the same length for both of them. So there we go. Ah. Come on. I see that you're doing this again. You can see where one of them just doesn't want to lay down flat. There we go. And this way we have our nice, neat little full stitches, just like this. And then we're done here. We can cut this, and then we cut right underneath the knot. And there we go. I usually will only use a waist knot when I'm using the metallic floss, just because it's so grippy that it's not likely to come apart. That's pretty much the only time I ever use them. Now, if we wanted to do it the other way, with a loop start, pretty much this is what I do when I'm using tent stitch. So we have our 2 strands, and we're going to fold them over and try to convince them to line up. And then we have all of this nonsense here at the end, so we're just going to cut that off. Go away. Blah. And thread this through. Try to convince it to go through my enormous needles that I use. There we go. And just kind of come through here. And be very, again, kind of careful with it, because the cotton will want to go faster than the metallic floss. And the metallic floss will kind of want to catch on every single thing in creation. There we go. And then we will just do the tent stitch as normal. And this isn't really very nice coverage on the tent stitch because I'm using 14 count and only 4 strands, but you can see that it does work. And this is pretty much the only way I will use metallic floss, is blending it with the corresponding color of cotton, and then using tent stitch, because it has to deal with less resistance this way, because when you're doing the full stitches, what you can't see is what's going on the back. The metallic floss wants to catch on the back of these stitches, on the front of these stitches, on the side of these stitches. It's not very nice, it's not very friendly. And when you do it this way, you don't really have to use this stuff all that much. You can if you want, but really the only time I ever use this is when I am using straight up metallic with no blend. But hopefully that helps some of you guys out. If you have any questions about this, please let me know down in the comments below, and I will get to it as soon as I can. But thank you guys so much for liking, commenting, subscribing, all that fun stuff, and I will see you guys next time. Bye!